We all know that this
You agree
is
with
bullshit.
The leak? You agree with the leak?
This is a MAGA victimization fund that is sanctioned by Donald Trump. How dare he?
This happened during Trump's administration.
Facts matter.
He himself was the victim of the federal government being weaponized against him for political purposes. That's number one. On the fund, we talked about this a little bit last night. I think that, the idea that someone who attacked a police officer, they should not get money. That's not right. However, if someone does have a legitimate claim that they were over-prosecuted or targeted unfairly or was on the periphery of some issue and had no reason to be targeted, and they have a legitimate claim against the government, I have no problem with that.
Justify this to the families of the police officers who were beaten, who were almost killed, to the people who were killed, to the people whose careers are ruined.
Climate NGOs. I mean, I'm not a fan of slush funds.
Are you really?
I'm glad that you're outraged about $1 billion. I was also outraged about.
Okay, Biden's not president.
$400 billion.
Biden's not president anymore. Justify this. Let's stay on topic. Justify this. You're okay with this? You think this is an honorable use of taxpayer dollars?
So, look, I think
yes or no.
I don't answer to you.
Tonight on CNN, what started as an IRS debate quickly turned into one of the most emotional exchanges of the night. And Scott Jennings found himself right in the middle of it. Roll it.
The issue that I have, this is the biggest self-dealing in presidential history. You're talking about protecting his family and himself from any type of IRS investigation. Not only did he sue his own IRS for $10 billion. Then he settled with himself for, by the way, it's $1.776 billion, 1776, which is simply a dog whistle to QAnon.
Well, first of all, why did he sue the IRS?
Because it was a leak.
Because they leaked his tax returns illegally.
And no, the IRS didn't leak. Let's be clear, the IRS didn't leak. An independent contractor did, so therefore it doesn't apply.
It's a nice hair splitting, but
it's frivolous.
While Trump was president, this happened during Trump's administration.
Facts matter.
He himself was the victim of the federal government being weaponized against him for political purposes. That's number one. Number two, I believe this deal on the looking back, it doesn't apply forward looking. It has to do with this period of time.
Now,
number three, on the fund. We talked about this a little bit last night. I think that, the idea that someone who attacked a police officer, they should not get money. That's not right. However, if someone does have a legitimate claim that they were over-prosecuted or targeted unfairly or was on the periphery of some issue and had no reason to be targeted, and they have a legitimate claim against the government, I have no problem with that. I think the government makes mistakes all the time, and people should be able to
well, if we were talking about legitimate claims,
go back against their government over there.
It would be transparent. It wouldn't be hidden, right, and secretive. That's the same thing that they do all the time. They hide behind this executive privilege on non-appropriated funds. When you have something secret, it's not about transparency. Everything we've talked about is transparency. And my question, Scott, is do you actually believe he should sue the IRS for $10 billion on an independent contractor leak?
Do I think that people should have their tax returns leaked by the federal government for political reasons, weaponized against him? I think he had every right to seek.
Scott's argument wasn't that everything was perfect. His point was Trump and others believed they were unfairly targeted and deserved some form of remedy. Roll it.
A grievance against the federal government for what they did to him on that. And it wasn't just him, it was other people
why
too.
Did he file it
was Ken Griffin also, and Ken Griffin just asked for an apology because he knows it's egregiously ridiculous.
Well, and Trump got an apology, and he's not getting any money out of it.
Okay, it was 2 years.
Well, it's $1.776 billion.
And 2 years after the statute of limitations on this, it was not the federal government who did this. It was an individual contractor. The Supreme Court has ruled 3 times.
On his own?
The Supreme Court has ruled 3 times in precedent since 1911 that you cannot be the judge of yourself on anything. And so Donald Trump is sued himself to get a fund now settled with himself to get a fund where he's going to write a check for himself. We all know that this is bullshit.
You agree with the leak?
This is a MAGA victimization fund that is sanctioned by Donald Trump. How dare he? How dare he? You look in the face and you justify this to the families of the police officers who were beaten, who were almost killed, to the people who were killed, to the people whose careers are ruined. I don't know about you, Scott, but I've spent time with those officers and their families, and their lives have been ruined. And unlike you, tonight you're saying this, but Todd Blanche could not say that today during his Senate hearing. Neither could J.D. Vance say and guarantee to the American people that any of those violent bastards who...
Okay, hold on for a second, because she just brought up slush funds, and this is where the conversation gets interesting. Let's be honest. Depending on how they're used, people argue that they can have benefits and risk. Supporters say they create flexibility and help move money quickly. Critics say the lack of transparency can become a problem, and that's where this gets heated fast. Roll it.
Dime from this. American tax dollars should not go to this. This is dishonorable, it's grotesque, and anyone who tries to hide behind some kind of patriotism behind this should be ashamed of themselves. Look in the eyes of the families of the people who suffered on January 6th. You know who the victim is here? Them and our democracy. And shame on anyone who tries to justify this. And it's our dollars that they're robbing to do this. It's grotesque.
It is Congress who gets the power of the purse. They cannot adjudicate this amount of money like that. It's also,
I think there's a question on that.
I think it is no coincidence that they posted this addendum, that the DOJ posted this addendum after Todd Blanche had his hearing today in front of Congress, because he didn't want to answer questions on this, because it stinks to holy hell. And this is coming at a time when Americans can't afford gas.
Okay, hold on. I stopped it right there because she's about to get into gas prices and American people struggling and all the doom and gloom and all that matters. But that's an argument for another day.
All of us around this table could be audited by the IRS. All of us.
Sure.
But Donald Trump can't.
But Donald Trump can't.
Right.
Yeah, protecting himself in perpetuity is absolutely
and his family.
ludicrous.
Well, it's not.
And his family.
Wait. He can be audited. It's not the fact that he was audited and like everyone else was audited. It's the fact that the IRS under the Biden administration used that as a political weapon in order to attack one person. While that debate is happening, Lydia decided to jump in, and that's where the panel took a completely different turn. Roll it.
Lydia, go ahead.
No, I'm glad that everyone's up in arms about slush funds. I mean, Biden had $350 and a COVID fund that he appointed to
$350?
Wait. I don't think Anna Navarro liked Joe Biden too much. Lydia almost gave him the benefit of the doubt, but Anna Navarro had to correct her. It wasn't $350.
$350 billion. There were about $20 billion that went to climate NGOs. I mean, I'm not a fan of slush funds as a vehicle. I'm glad that you're outraged about $1 billion. I was also outraged about
Biden's not
$400 billion.
On topic, justify this. You're okay with this? You think this is an honorable use of taxpayer dollars?
So, look, I think...
Yes or no? Yes or no?
I don't answer to you.
You can answer to the American people. Go ahead. I'm asking you a simple question. The millions of people watching right now, answer to them.
What is
You think this is honorable?
I do not.
Crickets.
Thank you very much.
She's an analyst, like you're an analyst. Her job is not to answer to you.
The law.
You can't say yes or no. It's crazy.
Lydia, answer the question.
Wow.
What do you think? Is this the right thing to do?
I think it's important to acknowledge the lawfare that Trump and hundreds of people experienced under the last administration. Staffers, people who were blacklisted. Trump spent tens of millions of. So the lawfare is a serious issue, and I think it makes sense that there would be some sort of restitution, given that this ruined people's lives. I am not sure that this is the best vehicle to make that happen.
So what do you think? Was Scott Jennings defending due process? Or did the panel raise legitimate concerns about transparency? Let me know in the comment section down below. And until next time, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for the algorithm, and so we can keep bringing you debates like this on The Jay Ravato Show.